welcome guys to another episode on the Extra Mile. My name is Alex and we are here today in the BMW 1M Coupe, and we will do another comparison video between Project Cars 2 and Assetto Corsa. And I have set this up as a race just so because I can record the replay. We will let that A45 AMG drive away at the start and we'll focus on the car. But before we do so, we will load our lovely OEM setup, and we want to see what kind of tires we have. We can use the... yeah, well, this is now a little bit different, a little bit tricky. I'm not quite sure what the street tires are that we can use in Assetto Corsa. Let's go with the regular Pirelli P0 sport tires, because I think when we choose the street tires in Assetto Corsa, I think that should be roughly the equivalent. From what I know, the P0 Corsa are already semi-slick tires and the Trofeo R are even more aggressive. So let's stick to the hard one and just see how this feels. I know the tire choice is key to comparing the lap times, and it's a little bit difficult to find a real equivalent between the two games, but we will use regular sport tires, non-semi-slick tires for this. Here we are. Yes, you go ahead. Okay. Here we are on the 1M. I really like this car. I really loved it in Assetto Corsa 2. I think it's one of the best M cars that BMW ever made. It hits all the right notes. We have a manual transmission. We have a really nice, tight and sporty handling. So anyway, let's do this. We will start by doing a few fast laps. And then we will try to drift it and see how that just warming up the tires here a bit before we give it the full beans. So far it feels very good. Oops. Get to the curb. There we go. The feeling over the curve. Again, that tire flex is just awesome. Could have braked a lot later there. And we have to turn in later here. Alright. Full throttle. 190, 200. And we brake at 150. Could have braked a tiny bit later. Let's jump over the curve here. Lovely. Oh, this feels good. So the last time we did this comparison with the 288 GTO, the Project Cars 2 car was quite a bit faster than the Assetto car, which was a bit weird, but we did not load the 150. Yes, 150 was about right. But we did not load the OEM setup for the GTO. We kept it at the loose one, which might have skewed the results a little bit. A bit of oversteer, which is nice, but we don't want that now because we want to go fast. Alright, come on. lap of this. Drive into the pits. Oh, this was fun. Really good fun. Alright guys, let's check out the time, the best lap for the BMW. Whoa! What's up guys? This is actually quite awesome. So the best lap for the BMW 1M was 2:22.9. The A45 MG was a lot faster. By the way, I have set the AI to 120% now, so as high as that can go, because they were a little bit too slow before. I think they're plenty quick right now. Alright, 2:22.9. Let's remember that, and now let's check out Assetto Corsa. Okay, so now here we are in Assetto Corsa. Let's check the tires. We do not want the semi-slicks, we want the street compound, which is a hard sport tire, regular street tire I suppose. So I hope that this is the best comparison. What we will do next time, probably for the next comparison, is just go full on semi-slick in both cars, because that might be a closer comparison. But let's check this one out and see how it feels. What I'm noticing right away is that the instrument cluster looks different. It looked different in the other car. I don't know which one is more realistic. Other than that, the cars look pretty much the same. Okay, so same procedure. Let's start with some slow laps first. Oh, okay. Sound is a bit more tame. It's the same difference as it was in the GTO. The Project Cars 2 sound was a bit more throaty. Not throaty enough, but it sounded a bit better, even though it was not great. Actually, the force feedback as I have set it up right now in Project Cars gave me a little bit more detail in the wheel. Let's see. Yes, same speed roughly through this one. Same shifting points, just got into 4th gear on that one. Cornering speed. Ooh, that was interesting. So one thing with Assetto Corsa that I've noticed over the years is that the cars feel great when you start to slide and when you're oversteering, but I always felt like in some instance they would start to slide a bit too early, where the car should actually grip, just like we had that situation in third gear there. It started to slide very quickly. Here again, we were not even on full throttle in second gear, and it really started to kick out. I suspect that is because of the tire flex. In Project Cars 2, maybe the tire starts to move a little on the rim, but is still holding its grip, where here the tire starts to slide in that instance. Again, late apex, there we go. So that dance at the limit is a bit wider in Project Cars 2 due to the tire flex, I suppose. Again, a little slide that was at partial throttle. I gotta say, overall, I enjoyed the car. Again, very slight throttle input in third, and we start to slide, which is, I feel like in real life the car would still hang on at that point. Obviously I have not driven this car in real life yet, but I feel like the wider limit in Project Cars 2 is a bit more realistic. Engine sound is pretty underwhelming in this one, but it was not great in Project Cars 2 either, but a little bit better. Okay, let's go for one more fast lap, and then we will do, okay, the drifting. Another situation where I would have thought the car should have gripped, but it started to slide instead. Very slow for this corner. Started to slide just a little bit at partial throttle, which, I don't know, there again. Not that that is necessarily wrong or unrealistic, it just, I feel like the tire should have held on in those cases. Here again at partial throttle or in third gear. Hard to say which is closer to the real car, but Project Cars 2, I have to say, feels a bit more realistic there. Now let's start to drift this car. Let's get to the fun part. Did it a little bit. sorry, I'm really trying to be unbiased and objective here, but overall the car felt better in Project Cars 2. This is really nice, but we did that in Project Cars 2 as well, at least with the OEM setup. Maybe the standard blue setup would have been awful again. What I'm also noticing is for some reason we are sliding out of the corners here more often than we did in Project Cars 2. Maybe, I don't know why that might be. Feels nice, but I have to say it again, it does not feel much better than it does in Project Cars 2. Quite the contrary, actually. Ooh, that was a lot of angle. 228.2. Now that's interesting. That's almost 6 seconds slower. Might be the tire. They felt pretty much identical on the straight. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So it's a bit too early to call that a trend that the Project Cars 2 cars are generally faster than the Assetto Corsa cars, which doesn't mean anything. The faster in this case does not mean better. It might be worse, actually. For the next comparison, I will choose a car where I can find some real-life track times on a track that we have in both sims, with the car that we have in both sims. That might be a race car in that case, and we will see which sim gets closer to the real-life time. From the feeling, if I now had to choose which car I would drive again, I have to be honest, that would be Project Cars 2. It felt more alive at the limit. I think the tire flex is mainly responsible for that. In Assetto Corsa you have grip, 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 and then you easily start to slide, grip, grip, and the transition between gripping and sliding is razor thin, so to speak. In Project Cars 2 you have grip, then you get into the point where you're really at the limit, the tire starts to flex a little bit, but you're still holding on, and then you get to the slide, which in my experience is more realistic. The limit in real-life cars, I mean, when you drive a car for real on a track, you have to be a little bit brutal to get them to slide. It's not like it is here where it just happens more or less automatically. You really have to force it a little bit. I'm sure you all know this from real world driving. When you're driving on the street, you're not sliding around all the time. You really mostly keep it in that grip limit, and when you get to the limit in a corner, you still have, you know what I mean, that edge is a bit wider. You can feel that in Project Cars 2, that the wider limit is there, and I personally feel that's a lot more realistic. The tire choice might be the reason. Maybe the street tire is not a sport tire here in Assetto Corsa, but really a regular street tire. So the overall grip limit might have been a bit lower, but what I also suspect and what I notice is that you can apply the throttle generally a bit earlier in Project Cars 2 when you accelerate out of corners. You have to be a bit more careful here because the grip limit is a bit wider. Because you can, you know, get on the throttle and the car does not start to slide immediately, but you have that little bit of wiggle room, so you can accelerate a little bit harder, a little bit earlier. And I think that was the case in both cars, the 288 GTO and the BMW 1M. So that might be part of why the lap time is so different. But again, for the next comparison, we will choose a car where I can find some real-life track times, and we will see how close each of the sims will get to that time. This specific comparison, in my personal opinion, was won by Project Cars 2. The car felt overall better. I could still slide it around. I could be more precise with that. Overall, it felt more like driving a real car. And you guys know I love Assetto Corsa. I have many hundreds of hours in there. So, but I'm not really a fanboy, so to speak, for either of those sims. Some things are better done by Assetto Corsa and vice versa by Project Cars. But when I had to honestly choose the car that I had more fun with in these two instances here, I would choose the BMW 1M in Project Cars 2. Whatever you can make of that. Anyway, guys, that was it for this comparison. If you have an idea for the car that we should test next, leave an answer in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.